Hey, deserving listeners, sister wives, let's watch and see what comes flying out of my face as I watch.
That, however, I do see that what this does for us is make us empathetic. If somebody has an issue, we all have to accept that and be patient with it.
Can I be a little bold in this moment? I think I heard you kind of putting Mary down in the way you said that.
I wasn't pointing at Mary, I was...
Okay, so I didn't hear that. I wonder, I mean, it was edited. I'm pretty sure they were talking with Mary. There was a longer discussion, and then at a certain point, it got to Cody. So I must have missed something, but let's see how this goes.
She made it so personal that I was like, wait a second. It was supposed to be light. It was supposed to be training in my mind.
I'm really saying almost as a challenge to you, you know, what if you take the parts of these women that are really different from you, feeling what it's like, we call it empathy, feeling what it's like to be the other person.
I thought it was a little bit aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, Robin is, I think, so they've been showing these little scenes, and Robin seems the most suspicious of therapy in general. She's stated as much, and Cody also seems not as suspicious or guarded as Robin, but still kind of like the other women seem like they're fully in on it and are open and hoping and expecting that things are going to go well. So we're seeing an edit, and I can't tell what happened, so I can't really comment. It could have been a wonderful moment that the therapist is doing. It could have been a disastrous one. I will say that for a first session, that's quite a thing to say, even if it's true. Plus, I would ask the person, Mary, do you feel insulted? You know, because you don't, as a therapist, want to say, I think Mary feels insulted by that. Especially the way that the therapist worded it, because then it seems like you have an issue with the client rather than helping them get along better. So I don't know, but they edited it, and it certainly is in line with the audience perception that Cody is narcissistic. I don't see any evidence of that. He could be, you know, that's the thing in my field is just because I say that I don't see evidence of something doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It's like looking up in the sky and it's black and I'm in the city and I don't see any stars. And I'm like, I don't see any evidence that there are stars in the sky. Doesn't mean there aren't stars in the sky. It just means I can't see them right now. So that's all I'm saying.
You know, we had Mary crying on the couch, and I was like going, what the heck?
It's not just about Cody with each one of us. It's all of us with each other.
See, to me, I mean, I would substitute the word assertive with aggressive. We've brought her here to do a job, and she's getting in and doing it.
It's an accusation almost. I don't feel like they are all investing in each...
So, Cody, what if I asked you to ask them?
Okay, so that's good. I don't know if this is some indication that Cody, I don't know. It's so edited that I have no idea how we got to that point. And I'd be really curious as to what Mary would say. And I'm guessing we're not going to hear. I'd love to ask Mary, what did you think of what the therapist was doing? And just hear Mary talk. Because Mary could say, I completely agree with what the therapist was doing. It was really helpful, and Cody needed to hear that. Or Mary would say, I have no idea what the therapist was doing. Or that Mary might say, I think the therapist was off her rocker. It's just anything is up there given what we're seeing. Because the way they laid it out, I don't understand why the therapist... Let me rewind that.
I don't see myself going into this and analyzing, well, I better manage her this way or something like that. I'm not seeing that. However, I do see that what this does for us is make us empathetic. If somebody has an issue, we all have to accept that and be patient with it.
Right. I mean, that first bit, I don't know what he was getting at specifically because they edited it so severely. I think he was saying he doesn't necessarily agree with the Enneagram system or whatever system they're using. It's not resonating with him. It doesn't resonate with me the way it was presented, but I'm distant. But then his big point here is, but we should have empathy. We should understand people. This is helping us to understand each other. And for him, later he says, it's not just about me and each wife. It's about everyone getting along, which points towards him actually being a peacemaker and wanting everyone to get along. And saying, yeah, for sure, let's work on my relationship with each one, but also like there's tension between these sister wives. I didn't show all the different scenes throughout the past couple seasons, but there seems to be a fair amount of ongoing vibe or something between Janelle and Mary. Christine seems to not be involved in that. I don't know. And then, of course, the Christine Robin thing. And I don't know how Janelle feels about Robin, but it's probably complicated. Anyway, so I'm trying to figure out what Cody said there that triggered the therapist to say something like, "You're insulting Mary." I'm going to assume that he did say something that was insulting Mary because the therapist is there, but I didn't hear anything. Did you hear something? I mean, I suppose if I were to stretch it, I would say that he's saying, I don't agree with what Mary just said about herself, or I don't know. The other thing that could be happening, again, I can't really tell from the edit, is that they were talking about how they don't really agree with the categorization that was presented. And he was trying to play the peacemaker and saying, yeah, I don't really, he wasn't saying this directly, but, I don't really agree with these categories. But if this is going to help us to have empathy, I mean, I think I literally said that in an earlier episode, that, the system doesn't really make sense. But if it's helpful, then great. I think he was basically saying that. The therapist could be insulted because she's really attached. And I've had this happen. I will tell people that use Enneagram or Myers-Briggs or some other system, and if it's clinically important for me to state such, I will say, well, it's not really scientifically supported, but if it's helpful for you, then great. And I'll get people get real upset at me about that. And I'm just like, hey, I'm the messenger. I'm just telling you the consensus within my field. And it's not just opinion. It's based on tons of research. And I could be wrong about there's a possibility, if I remember right, Myers-Briggs has one of the 4 dimensions have some validity, namely the extrovert-introvert spectrum. That does have some scientific basis, but the other ones don't really. But again, if it's useful, it's useful. And if it's accurate, it's accurate. And if it's helpful for relationships. Anyway, so it's possible that the therapist is insulted by that and is countertransferentially going after Cody because of that. I don't know. Maybe we'll find out.
Make us empathetic. If somebody has an issue, we all have to accept that and be patient with it.
Can I be a little bold in this moment? I think I heard you kind of putting Mary down in the way you said.
And another possibility is that her saying this is completely separate from what he said, that this is something that was said at a completely other point in the session. I don't know. But for her to say it this way, again, the edit, it would have been a better move to say, Mary, what do you think about what he said? Instead of, I think you have insulted Mary. And then ironic, eventually, in the edit, eventually she's the one that says, Cody, I think you should ask her. Well, maybe you could have asked her right off the bat. I don't know. I don't want to put anyone's therapy down. I would never do this kind of thing if they asked me to do it, which I don't know if they ever have. But I would never do something like this because I know that they edit these things. They take because I'm guessing this session is a couple hours because both therapists are there. It would be weird if it was just an hour or 50 minutes. Typically you need more time when there's so many people. So you take a couple hours and you edit it down to 7 minutes or 3 minutes. It's going to take everything completely out of context. So, but I'm just commenting on what I see in the edit.
I wasn't pointing at Mary, I was being general. She made it so personal that I was like, wait a second. It was supposed to be light. It was supposed to be training in my mind.
I'm really saying almost as a challenge to you, what if you take...
And then it raises another thing for Cody. He's getting defensive, which is normal. It would have been more mature for him to be like, oh, and I've been there before as a client. That's like, wait, but then you think, okay, you're here to be in therapy, so maybe your therapist is right maybe. I mean, your therapist could be wrong, but okay, slow down. That's why you're here. So what did I do? So it's a wonderful opportunity. But that's rare for clients to do that. But then he said, I thought this was going to be light. So was he misinformed, which is a problem, or is he just saying that because he feels hurt?
Parts of these women that are really different from you. Feeling what it's like, we call it empathy, feeling what it's like to be the other person.
And I thought it was a little bit aggressive.
Yeah, and then to word it that way, it could be a good intervention, but wording it that way could make it seem like you're saying as a therapist that you believe that the other person doesn't have empathy. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people in the viewing audience, maybe some of y'all, think that Cody is a psychopath or someone that has no empathy. Maybe he doesn't have empathy. I don't see any evidence that he does. I see the same amount of evidence of all the adults having the same amount of empathy. Maybe Mary has a little bit more evidence of more empathy than others. But so I wouldn't have worded it that way. But I'm not there. And I'm just going to assume that the therapist is doing this for a good reason.
We had Mary crying on the couch, and I was like going, what the heck?
It's not just about Cody with each one of us. It's all of us with each other.
See, to me, I mean, I would substitute the word assertive with aggressive. We've brought her here to do a job, and she's getting in and doing it.
It's an accusation almost.
So that sounds like Janelle is saying, well, I kind of agree with what the therapist was doing. It wasn't aggressive. It was assertive. It needed to be said. Okay. So Janelle agrees with it.
feel like they are all investing in each.
So, Cody, what if I asked you to ask them, not assume, if they are invested?
We are definitely more invested emotionally, bad or good, in our relationship with Cody. We are. We deal with each other, but we.
Again, it's edited so heavily, so I'm going to assume that she told Cody to ask, and I'm assuming he did. We cut to Robin, who is answering the question, and I'm guessing we're not going to hear. Maybe they're in the edit indicating that Janelle has a complaint here. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. So it's that time of year again. It's September, back to school, time to learn new things. And if you're a fan of this podcast, then I'm guessing you like to learn new things. But you might find that although you've learned a lot, you have a hard time applying this knowledge to better your life. This can be frustrating, you might know why you have a particular psychological issue, but you don't know how to use that knowledge to work on the issue. Well, that's where therapy comes in. A therapist can help you see how this knowledge applies to you specifically, and therapy also just gives you the time to focus on yourself outside of daily stressors. Well, one place you can find a therapist is at BetterHelp. If you're thinking of giving therapy a try, it's definitely worth checking out BetterHelp. So rediscover your curiosity with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/Kirk today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Kirk.
And we are cordial with each other in family setting, but as far as the, intimate on a emotional level relationship, we are lazy.
Is it fair to put it on the table?
Wait, what did Robin say? Intimate, lazy? What'd she say?
We are. We deal with each other, but we are cordial with each other in family setting, but as far as the...
Right. So Robin was going to say that she believes the sister wives are lazy, I think meaning that they are cordial, but they don't have the trust and the depth that Robin wants to have.
Intimate on a emotional level relationship.
And then we see Mary agreeing with that. I think Mary and Robin are more in alignment in the edit. Certainly we don't see an alignment between Christine and Robin or Janelle or anybody. I don't see Janelle being in alignment with anyone. Christine seems to mostly align with Cody, actually. Mary certainly tries to align with Cody, and I think does often, but these two seem most aligned. So it sounds like Mary is agreeing, yeah, we don't spend enough time working on the depth of our relationships.
And say, to make this work, we would have to have a significant increase in commitment to all of these relationships. We're talking authentic relationship here. We're not talking about merely being polite and coexisting.
I'm at a point in my life where I feel like I really am happy to be separate. I mean, I'm still here, I'm still a team player.
Yeah, that is what I thought. I thought Janelle had checked out. That could be her style, a more avoidant style. Or that's the role that she's established in the family. And I wonder what that means. Is that just, hey, I'm just bowing out of things, no biggie? Or is it, I'm so hurt and upset that I've had to separate myself? Let's hear what she says.
Just don't feel that invested.
You know, after the session with Nancy, we decided to go for a walk on the property outside of the house.
It was nice to get out of the therapy session, is what it was nice to get out of. I feel like I'm doing it.
Okay, so we didn't see the other types presented. I'm a little bummed about that because I was curious. But, you know, they take a 2-hour session and condense it down. I don't know. It's like, just don't show me the therapy session if you're going to show me this butchered, edited thing that gives me almost no information. But I will say, though, we heard Janelle just say that, which was very explicit, and I had been seeing evidence of that, but it was only minor evidence. So it's good to have that confirmed, and then for Mary to confirm that as well is helpful to me in terms of watching.
Decided we'd be willing to do that.
How do you feel about sort of transitioning into therapy, to really looking at issues that you guys have individually and collectively?
There's no doubt that I'm committed to the family, and there's no doubt that I'm not going anywhere. Like, I don't really quite know where I fit anymore because I've changed.
Okay, so she's saying, yeah, I'm distant and I've checked out, but I'm not going anywhere. So there's that, and I've changed. I wonder what that is exactly. I've changed. Has she changed away from polygamy? It sounds like she's... Anyway, let's see what she says.
Personality is different. I don't know how to bridge to the next level. So,
Do you see yourself able to take that same level of honesty into your conversations with Cody and your sister wives?
you know, I do with Cody and I do with Christine, but I don't do so much with Robin and Mary.
Interesting. Yeah, that is the way that, I mean, I didn't know about her and Christine, but I did hear way long ago that Janelle and Cody have a good relationship. So it sounds like that's still an open communication relationship, and she says she can talk to Christine. Yeah, that's the way it looked, was that Mary and Robin have an alignment of some kind. And I don't know, but maybe Mary saw an opportunity. Maybe Mary has always felt like an outsider because she's had fewer kids. Maybe that's always been something, that a dynamic in the family, you know. Maybe Mary even distanced herself because she felt ashamed or something, or she just didn't have as much in common with. Because just think about for Janelle and Christine over the years, how much they would share in common. All their kids are like aligned in age, right? And their daily struggles in that house in Utah would have been so similar. Whereas for Mary, it would be very, very different, you know. Now, they all shared in parenting, but, you know, there's some differences there. And then Mary, when Robin comes along, it's just like, okay, finally I can have my person, you know. And or Robin saw Mary as the head of the sister wives because she was the first. And Mary comes across that way. I mean, Janelle and Christine don't come across as like the head sister wife. So you could see Robin appealing to that relationship more. Who knows? But anyway, we're hearing that for Janelle. I'm encouraged that she said, I can talk to Cody, because that's important, right? And I'm glad to hear that she has Christine that she feels like she can talk to. And it's interesting that she says she can't talk to Robin and Mary.
You know, over the years, I've had to get used to Mary's personality. Do you know what I mean? And so that's some of it. It's just something that we're still working on.
What personality? I want to know. Did they edit that? They didn't edit that out, did they? Is Janelle thinking it's on camera? What?
Hey, Mary.
Come on in.
Nice room.
What a useless. Forget to film it. I don't know. They're entitled to. I think I have that exact same remote. Is that not the exact same remote? Right? That's the exact same remote, or it's a very similar remote. Yeah, it even has that little triangle thing. Yeah. This is what I use for my mini split, or ductless, or whatever you call it, heat pump thingy. Sometimes I get hot, sometimes I get cold when I'm making content. Right now I'm just right. It's off.
This is a tough question. What do you think is going to be the hardest part for you?
I think it's going to be trusting that all of us want to work on our relationships and just trusting that that's really what they want to do.
I think each one of my
That sounds like Mary is saying she doesn't want to open up to Janelle and Christine, maybe particularly Janelle, I don't know, if it's not going to be reciprocated. She doesn't want to get hurt. That's the way I'm interpreting it. I'm reading into a lot of that because they're not giving us any detail. It's just this tiny little snippet.
wives want to work out a relationship with me, and I want to work out a relationship with each one of my wives. I am not positive how much each one of my wives necessarily want to work out a relationship with each other.
Right. That's what I thought Cody was saying earlier, and that's what he's saying now. So let's see what Robin says.
Start, but we really just need to start putting it on paper.
I have poo-pooed this mission statement that everybody wants to do because I think it's drama.
Do you have an example for me?
We've had family meetings with a mission statement. They don't seem to accomplish anything. You know, maybe it's because I don't have a real concise view of what the mission statement should be, but I don't.
So I'll catch you up. There's been this effort to develop this mission statement that they want to present at some point to the public or something. And it sounds kind of silly, but I like it. If everyone's on board with it, I like it. And I like it because it's just another way of saying that the family wants to define themselves moving forward, and they want to work together on that agreement. You know, what is our purpose? What's our goal? And it could be as simple as a mission statement of saying we want to live in harmony, or we want to be together, or we want to strive to be as close and as good of people as we possibly can be, as parents, as people in the community, as spouses, whatever that is. And to have that could help them to trust each other. It could also be a chance for each person to check in with themselves and say, like, do I want that? And if I don't want that, what does that mean? If that person wants that thing and I want this thing, what does that mean? And, those are good conversations to have. And I don't think they have those conversations. So I'm in support of that. The therapy sessions, they're just giving us these tiny 5-second little blips, which are interesting, but it's kind of a bummer we're not seeing more of it. They're entitled to their privacy, but as a therapist, it's like, oh my God, they're in therapy? Like, I just discovered in this episode that they were even in therapy, and now I'm getting a chance to see it. And I'm getting like just these tiny little snippets.
I don't feel like I should write anything down yet until we all get together and really write some things down and just start.
The mission statement. How do you feel? Does this look like a peace-providing process?
When we were new in plural marriage, it was tumultuous. It was a struggle. We have all this baggage that we've brought or that we've built together.
I think I heard a little bit. I've heard the opposite as well, but that's interesting. So I think what a lot of statements are zeroing in on is Mary and Janelle. And that's the main rub in this family. I think that's what we're hearing, right? Or Mary and Janelle and Mary and Christine or something. I think we're hearing something along those lines.
So I see some hurdles to overcome. Our family mission.
And that would explain, for a number of seasons now, they had been fighting about Mary's house that they were designing. and even the rental house that she had at first in Nevada. And Janelle was the main speaker of, and Janelle almost never says anything in those together interviews. But the one thing she would say in terms of the edit was that she thought that Mary shouldn't have that big of a house. And, she was upset about it. I wonder if that's a symptom of that fight that's been going on since the very beginning.
Statement. Do you have some thoughts on that?
Shall we say, I guess just because of past and history and stuff, I feel like I'm very hesitant to speak my voice too much.
Yeah, that certainly doesn't sound like the reformer, right? the purposeful self. Oh, maybe that's a part of it, but it sounds like the peacemaker. Anyway, so she's saying that things that happened in the past, I don't know what she's referring to. My best guess is she's referring to something between her and Janelle. That just seems like the likelihood. She could be talking about her and Cody. She could be talking about her and Christine. She could be talking about her and Robin, but it doesn't sound like it.
Do you mind answering the question what you would be afraid you would do if you were to speak too much?
I will say that's a great question that the therapist asked. It's very much going deeper. It's very much asking Mary what she wants. There's no suggestion in that question. The therapist isn't routing her in a particular direction, isn't suggesting that she answer in a certain way, but it is going deeper. And you see that Mary, it's causing her to go somewhere that's pretty deep and emotional for her. So it's a good question.
This is stupid.
Am I pushing too hard?
No.
And that's good too. Good instinct. You want to check in, especially in the beginning. They're the first phase of therapy. Later on, you might know she's just saying that because that's what she says. But in the beginning, there's a risk there of like, uh-oh, I'm going too fast, I'm pushing too hard. But that's not what I heard. What I heard Mary expressing was self-talk of, this is so stupid that I'm about to cry, or this is so stupid that I'm hung up on this. Not, this therapy session is so stupid. I don't think that's what Mary's saying.
No.
Okay.
It's just been an emotional week.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Mary was saying this is so stupid because I'm crying. I don't want to cry. Interesting moment.
I'm just afraid of overstepping my bounds.
Here's the thing.
I'm just afraid of overstepping my bounds. Yeah. Who knows what she's saying. I think she's talking about Janelle. It's just a guess. So if she's talking about Christine and Janelle, then I think she believes that if she asserts herself and Janelle and I wonder if Janelle and Christine had a bond and they sort of ganged up on Mary. I don't know. Just a lot of questions. But then Christine or Janelle, one of them was saying, there's something about Mary's personality that is rough. It's just so strange because the way Mary comes across in the edit is she seems to me the most level-headed thus far. Y'all have seen the whole thing and might have a different point of view. I mean, certainly each of the sister wives has their strengths and their level-headedness, but Mary seems the most restrained but communicative, because she's told Cody some pretty upfront things, which is good to see. So I don't know. I don't know. I guess we'll find out, maybe. Okay, well, let's adjourn there. Tune in next time when I continue watching if you want to. And everyone out there, please take care of yourself, truly, because you deserve it. You truly do.